kind of a low-key call to action, right? So I want you guys to do something for me, okay? So San Antonio Spurs recently announced free open scrimmage to conclude training camp. And a lot of you guys, what you do is you go to these games and you get really great footage. And then the only people that see the footage is you and your fam, right? You and your friends or whatnot. And what I want you to do for this season, and I'll continue to remind you that when you guys go see a game, and if you go to this scrimmage, if you videotape it, if you show anything, send it over to me, man. Join the Discord, link in the description, and send over the footage. Or you can send it over, well, I would say send it over to Instagram, but Instagram's a little rough to decipher through because there's so many messages I get on there. But if you can post it on Twitter, tag me on Twitter, right? Or post it in the Discord, right? And just remind me during streams, hey, I got some footage that you want the chat to be able to see. It'll be really cool after games when we get on and we talk about the game to, have a little bit of footage that we can actually show, right? But yeah, so just wanted you guys to know that that's what we're going to be doing this season. So if you could send me over any footage that you have, that would be great. So anytime you get some footage, and if I miss it, you just remind me in the chat. Like, that's all you got to do. Remind me in the chat. I'm not one of those people. I'm not one of those YouTubers or whatnot or streamers that just ignore a bunch of messages. But then again, to be fair, like, some streamers are just so big till they can't catch everything. But I'm gonna try my best to catch as much as I can. So if I miss anything, just say, hey, I dropped it in the Discord, and we're gonna look at it. Okay, you should announce that in the Discord now. I'll do it when the season starts. I'll do it I'll do it closer to the training camp. So if you guys are going to any of this, please let me know. So as you can see here, we already know that the NBA season was announced and everything. So if you go here, this is the preseason schedule. So I will be watching the preseason. Not nothing crazy, but I will be watching it. So we got here the San Antonio Spurs versus the Lions. So this is in China? Or is this in San Antonio? I think this is in San Antonio. And then you got San Antonio versus the Utah Jazz. Then you got San Antonio versus the Pacers. Actually, I'm not sure. This might be in China. Yeah, this might be in China. Because it's 4 days between the two. Well, 7 days between those two. Anyways, I'm excited. I think that is going to be great. Unfortunately, we won't get to see Dylan Harper for a while, probably until the end of October, maybe a few games after that. I know how the Spurs are. Just because Popovich isn't the coach anymore doesn't mean that the train stops, right? They'll still be San Antonian, okay? They're still going to be doing some Spursy stuff, so we might take a while before we see him. But I'm really excited. I think that, one player in particular that we need to keep our eye on is Devin Vassell. And funny enough, I'm going to call it right now. I guarantee you, Devin Vassell might end up having the exact same stats, but get praise for the season. And the reason why I say that is because when he was in the position where he had to be the second guy, yeah, it wasn't necessarily good enough, right? We needed a little bit more consistency when it pertains to his aggression getting to the rim. That was the main thing, just the aggression. But as far as his numbers, it wasn't that bad, okay? It wasn't as bad as fans try to make it out to be. So obviously he wasn't as good as last season, right? But he also dealt with that injury. But I mean, he went down 3% from the field goal percentage. That's not great. But as far as 3-point percentage, it was about the same. And he also averaged the exact same amount of threes a game. And his overall points went down, just a couple points, well, 3 points. So just overall, yes, he wasn't as good as the season prior, and I think we had pretty high expectations. But at this point, I think that we can all, I don't know what that was. I think we all can understand what he is, right? He's not a second guy to Wemby. Maybe a third guy, but if he's the fourth scoring option, that's huge, right? And he plays decent defense. He's not a liability. by any stretch of the matter, not even close to a liability. So I'm really excited to see what we see from him. But I guarantee you, I'm gonna call it right now. If his numbers are the same, maybe just slightly better, he'll get praise for the exact same numbers last season. He just has more talent around him, so you're gonna more so feel the impact of of his scoring, right? You just feel it a little bit more. So yeah, and you'll be able to cover up some of those tendencies that he has, where he doesn't attack the rim as much, but you have so many guys that can put pressure on the rim. You got Castle, you got Hartwell. Hopefully, Harper's back and good to go pretty early. And then you have Fox, who can bring so much pressure to the rim. So I think that he's really going to shine. But it's just a matter of waiting and seeing. I really hate that he gets as much hate as he does. I agree with everybody when it came to like, hey, you need to be a little bit more aggressive, but man, I didn't agree with the whole like bringing up how much money he makes, because honestly, a lot of his peers, they did worse than him, right? There were some guys that did better, but there were plenty that did worse this season. DeJounte Murray being one in particular, who was god awful before his injury. So I'm really excited. I would keep an eye on Devin Vassell. I think that that's a player that we definitely need to take a look at, but it should be good. It's not bad numbers, though. The man's been injured, and just like Sohan, he was put in a strange situation. Yeah, you have him coming off the bench, quite a few times. He just hasn't been able to play. You switch up basically I don't want to say the entire roster, but the roster dynamic by bringing in Fox. It's just been weird. It was just a weird season, and that's okay. Yeah, I agree with you, though. He's gonna be okay. Goes from we hooping to now he injured. Then we get Wemby, and he touches diminish and gets injured again. Then coming next season, injured to play next to 40-year-old Chris Paul. Now this year he got breakout of we move on, in my opinion. Yeah, I agree with you. I think that it is going to be a well, I don't agree with it's a breakout or move on. It's very possible, and I don't know if this is a bad thing, but it's very possible that the breakout already happened during the 23-24 season. That could very well end up being the best version of Devin Vassell we get. But my whole point is, if that's the version of Devin Vassell we get, we'll win way more games. It's just that when he's put in a position where he has to be the second scorer, you can't be as inconsistent aggressive wise being the second scorer. But if you're the third or fourth, you can get away with it. No one will even notice, and you'll be somewhat of an X factor in a lot of these games. So we'll see. That's the one player I'm looking at. Everyone else, honestly, I'm excited for. But kind of like what you said, like, are we going to move on or whatnot? He's the one that I'm keying in on because I really want him to do well. Everyone else, I kind of know what to expect, or at least I just feel like I know at this point. I'm excited to see everyone, but Devin is the one guy where it's like, you're good enough. You're good enough to be part of this team long term, and I want you to. And I know you're talented enough. And hopefully, if it goes down how it's going in my head canon, that he'll be fine and he'll be a perfect third, fourth option, and people will love him again, and he'll be an X factor, and he'll hit some big shots here or there, and we're just like, whoa, that was huge, right? But yeah, that's how I feel. True, he's a passive scorer, but with aggressive scorers like Fox, Wemby, and Castle, he won't need to be aggressive anymore. Catch and shoot, high percentage shots is all he got to do. It also reminds me of those times when he was with DeJounte Murray, right? Or that one game in particular during the play-in game, and that's all he was doing all game was just catching and shooting, and he was lights out. And we can get that. We can get that version of Vassell when you have a little bit more aggressive players on the team. So we'll see.